Just mute that.
There we go. We've done it. We're live. Hooray! Well, hi guys. Welcome to our regular Tuesday Tat Chat. This week, as you know, on my channel. I'm here with Zaheer. How are you, buddy?
Hi everybody. Yeah, good to be in the chat again. It gets a bit confusing still, doesn't it? This alternating.
I don't know where I am, what day it is, what channel I'm on. It's just does my head in.
We've already got 33 people joining us. Chat's already busy. Adam Kelsey was first in today.
I was just scrolling back. Yeah, it was Adam. Then we've got Jason and Gary, Chelsea, John, Bumcrack Picker. I can't say that without smiling. Derek, Stacey, Tactical Bite, Leah, Maria, Michelle, Chris. I could go on. Welcome everybody. If you're new to this is a regular Tuesday show. We have Tat Chat. What are you doing?
Drop something.
Yeah, this is our regular Tuesday show where we just chat about chat about reselling online, be it Amazon, eBay, wherever you choose. And yeah, we take questions. So if you want to join us in the side chat, please do ask us questions in there. I did put in the group, in the Tat Chat Facebook group, that I was struggling for a topic, and then suddenly we had like 40 odd topics. So I picked out a couple of interesting bits, but it made me realize, God, we could just talk about Tat for years, mate. I mean, there's so many topics when you actually think about it. I was just being lazy.
Yeah, Tactical Bite and then Peter Cummins commenting on whether I was snoozing or not, having a cheeky snooze. I'm guessing that's down to the photo that's been shared in the Tat Chat group.
That picture is amazing.
It's cringe. It's funny though. I will say, you know, my daughter is very funny. I mean, I think it was the fact. It's the fact
you were a vampire in a.
I think I was sleeping like that or something, like with my phone, and then. I mean, I think it was the fact that she took taking the photo is funny, right? But I think it's the fact that she selfied herself with the photo. I think that's what tipped it over the edge for me. Me and Beck, we were cracking up when we first saw that, and we were like, okay, yeah, we've got to share that because that is kind of funny. I will hand it to her.
She's got that sort of little cheeky side. I mean, when we came up and met her, she's so funny.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she kind of sheepishly shared it with Mum first, you know. So she wasn't sure what my reaction would be. So that was quite funny.
Very cool. And I wanted to say, I'm sure most people that are here already saw your live stream video where you were talking about your fundraiser, but I just wanted to say, or let you say where you're at with that.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, I decided for the first year anniversary of the Chinwag chat, you know, someone mentioned, oh, are you going to do anything special? And I thought something that would be quite cool to do and something that was quite a nice thing to do. I was inspired by Rebecca last year. She did something for charity. She did like a moonwalk, so like a marathon at night. And I thought, I can't do that because I'm not physically up to it. So I took the lazy way out and have decided to get all my hair shaved off with like a 0 or whatever blade that is on the trimmer, and do that as a live stream. So in you know, to all the proceeds would go to Macmillan's, so you know, cancer charity. And I set up a couple of pages. There's the Macmillan Brave the Shave page, and if you're a viewer that's from outside of the UK, you just have to search my name on the Just Giving page. Just Giving website, and they pass it on to Macmillan. Over the 2 pages, we've actually already raised £466 on the Macmillan website's charity page, and then on the Just Giving page another £110, I think it is. Yeah, so we're on £576, and I only mentioned it on Sunday. So yeah, and my target was 500. So yeah,
your target was 500, and you've blown that away already.
I thought that was, yeah. So I was really, I'm really humbled by everyone's, like, you know, participation, and obviously lots of people are touched by, you know, by cancer. So it's a good cause. So on the 6th of October, you'll all get to see me shave my head bald. So I think I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I was just looking at the image of me, actually. I mean, I could probably join in and length mine's getting. But
Yeah, get in there.
I need to cut mine off before I go on holiday, to be honest.
Oh gosh,
Okay.
yeah.
So as I said, we did ask in the Tat Chat group, link for that's below if you haven't gone over there and joined already, for topics. One that I thought was interesting, and I thought would be interesting to get both of our takes on this, was something that Aid Critchlow mentioned, which was, do you really get more free time as a reseller, or is it a myth and you end up working 7 days a week? So, you know, what are your views on how much free time you get working for yourself, particularly as a reseller? Because, I mean, you've been full-time now a couple of years, is it?
Yeah, it's coming on to about, I think it's over 3 years now, or about that. I think I'm not good with time. So I think you do get a lot of free time. But I think a free time is like a poison chalice, because it sounds absolutely amazing, but you have to learn how to use so much time. And I think that's something I'm still trying to get my head around, to be honest, because even though I know I've got more time than I've ever had before, sometimes it feels like I don't have enough time, and I clearly know that's not the case. It's just, you know, it gets frittered away in a number of ways: procrastination, distraction, whatever you want to call it. So that's something I think I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, because the key for me is my time is my own. I don't necessarily have more spare time than anyone else, because I do spend an awful lot of time working. If I'm going out sourcing, that takes up a lot of Saturday and Sunday. But it's a mental thing for me. I don't have somebody telling me I have to work from 9 to 5. I can pick and choose the hours that I do work, and the freedom that gives me in my head, and the amount of stress I don't get from being told what hours I have to work is enough for me. That makes up for the fact that I probably do work more than most people I know doing this. Even now, even when I'm trying to take my foot off the pedal, I'm still a workaholic. But it's just the fact that if I do want to take a day off, I can. If I do want to take holiday time, I can. It's like we're planning to meet up again shortly, aren't we? We just decided, yeah, we'll do that. We'll just pop up and see you. Well, pop down actually this time and see you.
Yeah.
And yes, the downside is, as self-employed people, if you take time off, you don't get paid. There's no holiday pay, and that's a big thing that I think people really need to consider if they want to do this full time. You don't get any holiday pay, you don't get any sick pay. So if you are taking time off, you're not getting paid unless you've got lots of things set up on autopilot. I mean, you do, I don't know, it's tricky. You do in one sense. I mean, we went up to London the other day, and all day long I was getting ka-chings in my pocket, so I was still earning. But yeah, it's not like you're getting you don't get holiday pay as such. And you certainly don't get sick pay.
Yeah, definitely. It's something you have to bear in mind. And I do think sometimes people struggle. Like, for example, when I'm going down to see my family, they'll often be like, oh, how comes you're only staying for this long? You know, we thought you were going to stay the weekend. And they don't, I don't know whether they don't understand or whether it just doesn't cross their mind. I think they just assume that, oh, you can take that time off. But realistically, you know, we know our situation, and we know we've got to get back by a certain time, because the work can build up, and also we need to do a certain amount of work each month to bring in the relevant amount of income. So we can't just willy-nilly take off as much as we need. You know, I think sometimes people can be under the impression that because you work for yourself, it's free reign. Like you said, it's not, because when you're not working, there's nothing there. So
yeah, a lot of people have that perception. Like, people will just ring me up and say, Nick, do you want to pop over and spend the afternoon? It's like, because I can doesn't necessarily mean I will. And it's tricky, because if you've got things that you're working on or whatever, we can drop everything, but it's not always easy. I just read a comment. Globulus said the flexibility is the key, especially with family time. And I'd have to agree with that. You know, we can down tools and just go and do stuff, you know, and that isn't necessarily an option for everybody who has a regular 9 to 5. You know, you can't just say I'm taking this time out. And if you have family illness, or you have a crisis that you have to deal with, sometimes taking time out of a 9 to 5 regular job is not easy.
No, definitely, and you don't have to ask anyone. So yeah, I mean, I'd say that's definitely something that was one of the positives on it. I've actually had a couple of questions coming through the chat as well. Don't know if you want to touch on a couple of those as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Michael Tolchard asks, Nic Z, what's your thoughts on retail arbitrage, as I've just invested in a load of clothing? Retail arbitrage.
Well, I'm all for it. I know it's not as much your kind of thing, but I've been dabbling way back when, since we first started doing this full time back in 2002. We've been buying up stock from supermarkets, online places, wherever we can get it, and it really doesn't matter what it is. I'm not fussy. If there's a margin in it, I'll pick it up. So yeah, I think it's great. It's something that it's quite hard to master. It can be risky. But I love it. I absolutely love doing it. Are you still of the mind that it's not your bag?
It wasn't my bag, but down south to still here and there, because it was that much more accessible. Up here, because it's not necessarily it's not something that I necessarily enjoy doing that much, and it's that much more difficult because all the big supermarkets, which tend to offer reductions and things like that, they're all about a 30-minute drive away from me. And, I've got no real reason to go out to them. So unless I'm making specific trips to go out for a day and just source and do retail arb and just maybe hit the charity shops in the area, I just don't really get the opportunity. And I don't really feel that it's worth taking a day out to drive to all the different supermarkets, because they're all spread out, and I just don't feel that it's worth it for me. Just want to quickly say, the reseller gentleman says, hi everyone, been watching for a while but first time in the chat. So hey, how is everyone? So welcome to the chat, the reseller gentleman. Always good to see new names.
Welcome aboard. Malinky asks, why is Nic buying lost DVDs? I can't give them away. Oh, here. Yeah, I picked them up cheap at a boot sale a while back, and I just sold one at that point for 20 quid. So I grabbed another one. I'm just about to list that. I'm going to shoot for 20 free shipping. I think it owes me about £2, £3, something like that. Not much in it, but I don't have that much trouble getting rid of it. Now I've said that, I'll have it forever. Yeah.
And then Blitz says, Z, plus the fact I get first pick at everything from Asda, Fleetwood, lol. So there we go. Someone's already gotten the. That's my local closest Asda, I think. So.
I was in a huge Asda it was about 3 days ago, because I'd seen somebody had a haul of RA, and there was just nothing there at all. There was some markdown toys. Funnily enough, somebody else was there with the scan app, scanning toys in the sale section, and they weren't buying anything. And I had a scan through, and it was just crap. I think it had been picked clean. And recently, Asda had a clearance on their video games. I don't know if it was store specific, because the few I went to had nothing.
So I don't know if you saw, but Peter Ray has actually super chatted.
No, completely missed it. I haven't even got a little.
Has it not popped? It hasn't popped up at the top of the screen yet. Yeah, I just seen Peter Ray super chat £2.
I've got it now. Yeah, thanks, Peter. It's super chatted £2. Been sorting out items to go to eBay. Relax time. Well, there you go. If you've done your work for the day, chill out. I'm now almost starting to wind down, ready for our holiday. I'm kind of getting in holiday mode. We got the suitcases out of the loft today.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's becoming real now.
Yeah. Well, we've got the 80s festival over the weekend first, and then we go away. So yeah, can't wait. That'll be my proper relaxed time.
Mr. Sadie123 has a question. Do you use the promoted listings? If so, your thoughts. So have you ever used eBay?
No. Yeah. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah, I've seen it advertised on eBay, the promote your listings, and they kind of give it like a boost. But I'd guess unless you were selling something generic or something that you had like wholesale or something like that, that you might need to make your listing stand out from a crowd of others. You don't necessarily, so if you're listing an item that's in a mega saturated market and you feel that you need a hand, it could possibly be worth it. But for most of us guys, just picking one-offs up, I don't necessarily see the benefit. So I don't know, for example, if I've got this Friends Cup and list that, I could just list it. I could pay whatever, because I think they take an amount of it of the sale, I think, or something like that. I think that you don't pay until it sells or something like that.
So what do you get for that then? I
think they push it to the top, yeah, and I think it's just like, on Gumtree, where you can be like you can pay to have your advert at the top in bold or whatever, or in a fancy kind of a background or box to make it stand out. I think it's similar to that.
Yeah, I've had no experience, so I couldn't give you any idea whether that works or not. You were breaking up then a lot. I don't know if it's just the stream on my end.
Was I?
You were freezing up. I doubt there'll be much you can do about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Your audio was coming through, but you were just static on my screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the situation is. I think at the moment I don't have a graphics card in this computer, so it might be that it's just something to do with that, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, Blitz says in there, going back to RA and Asda particularly, he said Fleetwood Asda cleared out their ink cartridges. He got £700 in profit from it.
Nice.
Wow.
That is epic.
Yeah. I always seem to miss the ink. Tesco's do that. Once in a while, they clear out older lines, I guess. And I've seen people just getting trolleys full of it. But I always manage to miss the ink. It's so easy. Ink is one of those commodities. You can list it and sell it all so fast. I've done some ink on eBay, but it's just as good on Amazon. I was just reading in here.
Yeah, French Fancies has a question like, have you sold an item via Twitter, like via promoting on eBay? Well, like promoting an eBay item. I've never sold an item via Twitter.
No, I've never really promoted my eBay items in any way, to be perfectly honest. I've not shared them on Facebook or any other social media. It's not something I've ever entered into. I dare say that it works in some capacities, but I've not done it. I was looking at Kirsten's Curiosities page. There's a Facebook page where she's sharing some of her eBay items, and that looked really cool. But I'm not sure, because I buy and sell just about anything, it would be a bit of a weird page.
Yeah, I don't think it would necessarily be for us, would it?
Maybe not. No.
Yeah. Okay. Richard Payne says, recently gone full-time, now much more relaxed, gone from working 40 hours a week plus hour commute a day to around 30 hours a week with no commute and earning a lot more money, says Richard Payne. So that's him comparing his full-time reseller life versus...
Yeah, I mean, going back to how many hours we actually put in, if you can take out the commute if you're working from home, so that saves those hours driving. And more importantly for me, it saves the stress of commuting, because I used to hate that. And then I had a thought in my head. What was that thought? I had a really good thought.
Oh, I know.
you know when you just brain fart because you're trying to get the other thought out quick? Yeah, how many hours? I can't remember. It'll come back to me.
How many hours?
Excellent.
Okay. All right. There's quite a few questions coming through, actually. We'll see what we can get through.
One man said, did you guys see the Apple sneakers on auction at the moment, currently at £8,000? I did. Somebody shared that. They're like trainers with the Apple logo on. Did you see that? I don't know where it was shared. But yeah, that's crazy. Mad. Yeah, mad that somebody would shell out that for a pair of stinky old trainers.
Well, were they actually like Apple branded or something? Or?
Yeah, it had I think it was the old style multicolored logo as well with the Apple on the front.
Oh, I didn't realize there was even such a thing. I didn't realize that at all.
What was it? Let me just have a look. I did write down some of the suggestions. One that's quite topical with going away on holiday. It's time of year when hopefully, if many of us can, we'll be able to get away. Somebody asked, what are our opinions on closing your store if you go away versus extending your handling time? I can share how we tend to do it, which is we will go into holiday settings and switch that on, and then we will change our handling time, and then we will adjust it as we go. So we're going away for 10 days and we will bring our handling time down once a day until the end. And yeah, that works for us. I know people who just switch their store off so they don't get questions, they don't get any issues. But then again, you're not going to get any sales. I mean, sales will slow down. Obviously, if you put your handling time to 10 days, that's going to put a lot of buyers off. But we always tend to get sales when we put holiday settings on. So that's how we prefer to do it. And you can do the same on Amazon. If you're Amazon Merchant Fulfilled, you can put your store on holiday. So yeah, have you had cause to put your store on holiday, and how did you go about it?
Yeah, I do the same as what you just said there. Whack through like what's it called? Just up the handling time, and yeah, I mean sometimes I don't even see the point in putting it on holiday mode, to be honest, because I think as soon as you go above, because I don't think it adds anything. I know it says I know you can put a little banner.
Yeah. This seller rather is away, so there may be a delay in getting it to you.
I actually think that that by changing the handling time, that message is more powerful than the holiday one, because often people kind of ignore the holiday message, and there's been plenty of stories where people have gotten dings for like late shipment because they've put their store on holiday mode thinking that they're covered, but they haven't changed their handling time. So as far as eBay were concerned, when the sale goes through, it should still go through to the handling time, even though you've put your store on holiday mode. So it kind of makes you think, well, what's the point of holiday mode? Why not just up the handling time? And then when you go above, I think it's 3 days, a little message comes up as well to state that that the buyers will see, or they'll be told that this is an excessive shipping time.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you could just do the handling time.
Yeah, and leave it. I just think just put a crazy handling time on it, and just like 30 days.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I just don't get.
Interesting to see what people in the chat say, what they've done and what experience they've had. I was just thinking last time, a while back when we went to Turkey, as orders were coming in, I was also messaging them to make sure they were aware. So just, half an hour in the evening, I'd just log on and say, thanks for the order. I hope you were aware of my handling time. And just to smooth things over and make people aware. And I'd say, if you weren't aware and that's no good to you, please cancel. Just to preempt people getting peed off because they didn't look at the handling time, and then, getting into negative feedback or bad karma from that. So I was going those extra lengths to make sure everyone was happy and understood, because you're right, people go in and they click sometimes on their phone, they don't read all the details, and then they expect it to be there in 2 days time or whatever, and it's clearly not going to happen.
It never is that way, is it?
Yeah.
Maria Clark has a question. Hi, this is going to be my first Christmas reselling, and just wondered what you do at Christmas time. Do you work through or take some time out? So during Christmas week, how do you normally do that? Do you normally work up till Christmas Day?
It slows down right after last post. It dies a death anyway. You know what I mean? So those last couple of days before Christmas, there's very little coming in anyway. So we basically take that time off, and then over Christmas we're not listing, we're not doing anything. So we basically take 4 or 5 days off. Effectively, everything's still on, but then it picks up again quite soon after Christmas because everyone's got Christmas money, they're sitting around, they're on holiday, so orders will start coming in. I mean, if you want, you can extend your handling time then if you want to, cover yourself. What did you do last year and the year before?
Yeah, I think about the same. It just went with the flow, really. I think I just did. I don't know. I think you're pretty relaxed at that point anyway. And like you said, it naturally slows down as well, so you don't have to worry. I think the only worry you have is there's a little spike of stress on the last batch of sales that you get, because you know that it's people buying desperately, hoping they're going to get this stuff in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then inevitably there's the odd message where you're like, look, you're not going to get a guaranteed delivery by Christmas, and
it's funny because it always feels like it's taking ages to get there and get there, and then the sales really kick in. That last week before last post, it goes a bit bananas, and then last post comes and it's just like utter relief that it's kind of over, and it's like, oh, thank God for that.
David McGregor says, I do what Z does, change the handling time only. Holiday mode is pointless. And Simon Mitchell has a question. Can you do a blanket adjustment for handling time? Going through 500 listings would take ages. Yes, you can. You can edit all your listings in bulk. If you've got to have an eBay shop, obviously. And if you've got an eBay shop, I'm pretty sure you can do 500 listings at a time. You can edit them in bulk. There's two ways. You're either going to just change the dispatch time from a drop-down menu, or if you've got postage policy set up, you can just go into each of your postage policies and adjust them. And when you adjust them, all the listings that are under each postage policy will be changed to whatever that is. Okay. I love postage policies. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah, I've never bothered setting that up. I don't know why.
Postage policies are great. I absolutely love them. They make things. Thing is,
I just know what to put in. I just wait.
Yeah, I love it though, because when I list an item, it's just a drop-down menu, and I just choose between my preset postage policies. So if it's a heavy item, I've got one set up for like 5 to 10 kilos, one for 2 to 5 kilos, just mirroring, what like the shipping companies have. And then I've got some set up where it's like, without GSP, some with GSP, depending on the category. So for example, if I'm listing a games console or a pair of speakers or something like that, which isn't covered under the global shipping program, I've got policies set up and I can just do it. However, it's a bit disjointed, because if you ever decide that you want to try listing on your phone or something, they don't show the postage policies, which is really annoying. So it kind of ruins it a bit for you. And Fin Fashion Plus Phoebe says, just for info, you can get sick pay if you are self-employed, as long as your NI contributions are up to date. It's called support allowance. Never used it, but used to work in HR.
Wow.
I didn't know that. Most people didn't know that.
I've just never get sick. How's that?
Yeah.
No, that's interesting to know, actually. I'm going to Google that and find out a bit more. That would be an interesting video to make if I can find out, how that works.
Definitely.
One other question that popped up in the Tat Chat group when I asked for topics, somebody asked, it's very specific, but they wanted to know how you go about using the £10 credit you get for postage supplies with your shop. And I actually haven't used mine, because when the new one came through for this month, I went into their shop and they're sold out of all the stuff I wanted. You know what I mean? So I thought, well, I'll hold off a couple of weeks until they've restocked. Do you know, because I can't find the email, do you know if that code is sat somewhere in your...
Yeah, it will go into your probably your spam stuff. I know on my Google Mail, it goes into the promotions folder. But if you just search your email, just type in eBay voucher, it will bring up the email.
Yeah, I can't find it at all.
Yeah. But you just need to search eBay voucher in your email, and then it will bring it up. You'll see it there. It'll say eBay for business, and then it will say, here's your £10 voucher or whatever it is.
Going back to I can't remember, I didn't write down who posted it, but how do you use it? Basically, you get a code, and then you have to go to eBay's, how do you call it? They're like official supplier. I can't remember who they are. I don't have it open.
Swift Pack, isn't it? Swift Pack.
That rings a bell.
Yeah.
And then they've got eBay branded stuff on there. Oh, nearly ran Monty over. I got some of these last time. And you get £10 if you're a middle-sized store. There's not much on there that's exactly £10. They've kind of fiddled it, really. And it for what it is, it's quite expensive, but I think that whole... What was your take on that? I think it's a bit of a swizz, to be honest, because you're paying over the odds for stuff.
You do end up with a fair bit. I mean, it's free. In a way, it's free. I mean, they've charged you more, obviously, because your store
They charge
prices.
us more, and then they're giving us free
Yeah.
packaging
Yeah.
that costs more than you'd buy it for normally. So it's not
Yeah.
really
So
free.
it's just, what you're going to do about it. I mean,
I
they could have just charged you more and then left it at that. They could have just upped the price.
know. Well, it's there, and we need, and you might as
Yeah.
well use it because
Well, yeah, I mean, what I like about it is that I'm building up a bunch of suppliers now that normally I wouldn't do. And actually, Jennifer H has got a good point. Maybe the main point of holiday mode is to allow you to relax, as buyers would be aware that any messages would not be responded to. I think that's actually a really good point. So yeah, holiday mode does have a point after all, actually thinking about it in that sense.
yeah, good point. Because they know you won't respond.
Yes, exactly. To take your mind off it. But like you said as well, when you were on holiday last time, you were still taking half an hour to
I was
ping
logging
out.
in once
Yeah,
in the evenings anyway.
I don't think you can ever really turn off, can you, completely from it?
Well, you could if you took the route of just switching it all off, you could. And I know a lot of people do that, and I can totally understand why. To be honest, I mean, I was toying with the idea of doing that this time.
I think you, yeah. I mean, you could. I mean, to not even have to think about it at all.
Yeah, just switch it, because that is an option to switch everything off so it's not visible.
I think that's actually something I'd think about doing.
Yeah, we might do. I was talking to Andrew about it earlier, and the plan was to just do what we did last time we went to Turkey. But the more I think about it, I might just shut the whole thing off.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is deal with some like question or something. It would just remind you of it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll see. I'll have a think.
Yeah. Peter Cummins says he might have hibernated through winter last year. Beck put him in a box full of straw in the garage. Oh gosh.
There's more questions about Q4 coming in. There was quite a lot of Q4 questions over on the Tat Chat as well. Lisa said in the side chat, what items do you find sell easily for Q4, and when is the best time to begin listing them? It's pretty logical, to be honest. Anything that you think somebody would gift to somebody else is going to be more in demand at Christmas. Toys and games, particularly because we all buy for kids and we buy lots of stuff for kids. But like gift sets for cosmetics and that sort of stuff, they'll go through the roof. But even vintage and retro stuff, a lot of people buying for someone my age, would be thinking vintage gaming and that sort of stuff. I always see a spike in cool vintage 80s and 90s stuff, kind of quirky out there gifts. So anything you think somebody would buy for somebody else for Christmas is going to peak in interest. And it starts for me in October, Christmas stuff. So yeah, start thinking about getting it on soon.
I think it's definitely getting on people's minds now, isn't it? It's just if you sell that kind of item, then definitely giftable items.
Yeah. Oh, the Whippet says, Nick, I'm sure eBay should give you free supplies with all the fees you give them. Yeah, and all the promotion we do through our channels. We've talked about this before, and I've actually tried to contact eBay to say, is there any chance you could, sponsor my channel or give me something in return for all of these thousands of videos we're putting out there as a community to basically promote eBay, which is what we do. And I've had nothing back, not even a response. So they're obviously not that bothered.
No. They're just like, let's just ignore it for as long as we can. Okay, Kevin Rosen says, question, what's the highest number of items you've had to post on a Monday after a weekend sales? A lady in front of me at the post office had about 150 this week. Wow.
What, over the counter? Oh, that'll wind up.
I bet that went well.
Imagine joining the queue behind her.
Oh, yeah, I'd be miffed.
I remember in the very early days, before we got an account and everything, we used to take all our stuff daily down to the post office and stand there in the queue. And our local post offices, we used to use a few depending on where we were outsourcing at the time. They all knew us. And if they saw us, they'd just run and leave one poor girl. Because they just hated dealing with us. And it just became a running joke as well, that they'd see us coming and all hide. But yeah, it's a lot easier now. I just take a bag full of stuff and drop it off. And I'm actually thinking about possibly changing to either click and drop or drop and go, or jumping ship and going to Hermes, because I want everything tracked now, because it's just the way forward. I think all parcels need to be tracked now, because people are so quick to open a case if it's not been sync tracked. So
Yeah,
we're gonna, once we get back from holiday, we're gonna jump ship and change what we do, I think.
that's actually reminded me of a comment quite early on this evening that I think just went past. Didn't catch it, but I think it was along the lines of someone mentioned that they'd changed how they give out feedback. So rather than automatically giving feedback when someone buys something, they've changed the setting so you only give out feedback once you receive a positive. And they said that it's improved how much feedback they're getting compared to before, but also it's reduced the amount of like items not received and that kind of thing. I'm not sure if they're linked, but I do actually have that set up as well, where I only give out feedback once. It is set to automatically give out feedback once someone leaves me with a positive feedback. I know big companies automatically leave you feedback, but I'm not a big company, so I figure I can do it the other way. So
I switched to that way of doing it not that long ago, a couple of months, 3 or 4 months maybe.
Yeah.
Before that, I would give feedback once they pay and once I ship it. But now, yeah, I have it automated.
I don't know if it's made any. I mean, you've had a bit of a nightmare recently with people saying items not received, so it's not
gone back to normal now. We had a little patch of a few weeks where it was just like, it felt like it wasn't as bad as it felt, I'm sure, but it felt like we were just getting ripped off left, right, and center, which is why I want to switch to fully tracked service now. That's the plan.
Yeah, I think fully tracked is the way, and I think the local drop off at Hermes is really good, to be honest. And you can pay. I think it's an extra 20 pence or something a parcel. Is it? I don't know how much more it is actually. Might be more than 20p. It might be £1 actually. I'm not sure. And they collect from you as well.
Yeah, no, I use Hermes a lot at the moment just for the bulkier stuff. But there's drop off shops in town, so it's easy to do.
Sib K says, I get zilch feedback nowadays. Don't know what's happened. It's very slow. I will say that. I mean, compared to the amount of items you sell, the amount of people that bother leaving you feedback is quite low. Because I think the thing you risk by having that setting on about leaving feedback once you receive it, as a buyer, you might reasonably expect the seller to leave you feedback for paying and completing their part of the transaction. So you end up in that situation where, like, if you're not doing it, I'm not doing it, and then no one gets it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, there's a bit of talk about postage options there.
Lee McCullen says, please remember that standard Royal Mail second and first class parcels now give delivery confirmation, which is accepted by eBay. Yeah, I've read about that. Is that like the scan code?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. I was chatting to David McGregor, who is using, I get confused which is which. He's using the drop and go, and you can get printouts of all of your like QR code numbers, which are eBay are accepting as proof of delivery. So you pay basically over the counter prices for that, but you get the luxury of just putting an address label on all your packages and then just leaving them at the post office, and they do everything else for you. They work out all the postage, they sort it all out, and then you just get billed to your account. So I would end up paying more.
Do you trust your local post office to work out the postage? See, that's the thing I really wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I know them quite well up there. I chat to them on a daily basis. So
it doesn't mean anything. Then they might think, he won't suspect us. let's put that through as first class, or
maybe I'm too trusting. But then they've got to give you a receipt for everything they're charging you. So if stuff's going through, you should quite easily be able to check that up, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I don't use it yet, so I can't comment on how good it is. But I would end up paying more at the moment. Up to 2 kilos, I pay £2.50 for a parcel, and over the counter, I think that's £2.90 or something like that. So it's quite a jump, 40p. So every 10 parcels, I'll be paying £4 more, but everything is tracked. So, and it will be quicker. I won't have to do an online order. I won't have to stamp everything up. I just got to stick address labels on.
Sib actually says, yeah, the new click and drop offers tracking on parcels as part of the normal price, 262-ish. The reason I use that as opposed to my Hermes is getting parcels to a customer in 1 to 2 days instead of 2 to 3. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I actually think Hermes do often deliver in 1 to 2 days.
Yeah, they do.
In a lot of cases, yeah. It's just I think they cover themselves. The only other thing I'd say is I think people have found sometimes that with Hermes, they're able to get compensation easier, whereas sometimes people have had that roadblock with Royal Mail. Some people haven't, but some people have, where Royal Mail will apparently only compensate you to if they know you're a business seller, which they should do. Click and drop account or whatever, they won't compensate you for the sale price of even though you can provide them with the sale price value. That value for some reason doesn't.
You have to provide proof of what it costs you.
Which so it's the cost of the goods rather than the value of the goods, which is stupid.
I tried to get compensation for, I think it was a £60 order of, it was a big collection of charity badges. And I didn't have any proof of purchase. They were bought at a car boot sale. I bought a collection of thousands of these badges.
I remember those.
I did. I broke it all down. I still got a load actually that I haven't sorted, funnily enough.
Surprise
there. I did a few job lots, I think 3, and 1 went missing. It was sent recorded, but it just vanished into thin air. They never got it, and but they wouldn't compensate me, because I couldn't prove how much I spent on it. And I went through the whole system, and I can't even remember what came of it. I think nothing came of it. It really wound me up. But yeah, so that is a downside of the Royal Mail, that if you're going to get compensated, you're only going to get compensated for what you can prove you paid for it. And if it's something you picked up at a boot sale, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, the thing is cost of goods is, I think that's a ridiculous thing, and that alone would put me off, to be honest, dealing with them, just because it's just, because your job as a reseller is to find things below their value, and then sell them at their value. That's the whole idea. So every time you send something, if it's valuable, then you're going to have that risk. So I don't know. But then again, I suppose for really valuable items, you can just use someone else. But
to be honest, the Royal Mail, they get a bad rep, but they don't lose a lot of stuff. The point in Tracked is I trust the Royal Mail more than I do my customers. And I think there's a growing scene where people are just getting wise to the fact that if something drops on their doormat and it hasn't been tracked and they haven't signed for it, there's a lot of people who just think, oh, I can get that for free. And eBay has made it so easy. You just click the item not received thing and it's all automated. They don't have to do anything. And just having that trackable code on it, so they know that the postman has scanned it and it's at your house, will put off 90% of people from claiming and they haven't got it if they're trying to claim that fraudulently. So that's the point for me.
Yeah. By the way, Krillin has super chatted you $2.
I'm not. They're not coming up in my chat.
No, they're not. They're not. Yeah, they're not coming up. The little bar at the top's not coming up.
Let me scroll back then. Did I miss it completely? Oh, there we go. Hi, Krillin. Thanks for that. Nic and Z, ever have employees? Where are the ladies? I have had employees when we used to have our gaming shop, and I had a pretty rough time with employees. As for where are the ladies, Andrea is at her nan's. She spends Tuesday evenings with her nan. Where's Beck?
She's doing something, probably cleaning or something. I'm not sure. She's busy. don't know where she is actually. She's not in there.
So, yeah, employees. I had various employees over the years, and some were fantastic, to be honest, but a couple just ripped us off. They were stealing from us. They were giving their friends freebies. They were doing all sorts, and even to the point where something you may not know about Andrea, my wife, is she had open heart surgery and was really ill with that for quite a long time. So I was taking a lot of time off work to go and be with her while she was dealing with all of that. And I had a guy who I left to manage the shop. I found out whilst we were going through all of this, he was a family friend as well. We knew him, you know, on a personal level. While we were going through all of that, he was running the shop, but he was just lifting stock. He was giving stock away to his mates. He was fleecing us whilst we were going through life-threatening surgery. Well, Andrea was. So it was a double whammy. And I was that close to just lamping him when I found out. Looking back, I wish I'd just smacked him in the face because he was such a git. Oh, makes me angry talking about it.
Not surprised. I'm not surprised you don't talk about that often as well, because it would make you angry every time you think about that. No, I don't think I'm ever going to have employees. It's just I can't see it. So and I don't have any now. I don't see ever having any. So that's that. Right.
Just scrolling back to the end.
I think Lisa's getting a bit upset about the H word, so I'm not going to mention them going forward. Adam says stop mentioning them. He looks at Lisa. Yeah, Lisa's.
What?
Hermes.
Oh, Hermes. Oh, is that a dirty word now?
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, she's not had a great experience with them. You know,
Fair enough. Was it Lee McMullen that was in the chat earlier? Because if you're still in the chat, are you still around? Because I wasn't getting messages back from you about trying to sort out getting you on the chat. So drop me a message if you're about and you're still up for that. Scott says, "Don't worry, Nick. Karma will get him back over time. Hopefully." Yeah. It was a horrible thing because I used to see his dad around and his nan, and they were all, he completely denied what I caught him doing red-handed. And it was just so awkward because the whole family were in complete denial that this kid, because he was a youngster, he was a teenager at the time, had been caught red-handed with a rucksack full of Xbox 360 games. And that was the only time I actually caught him. So that wasn't the first time. I mean, I'm not naive. And yet his whole family just, you know, would kind of be in complete denial when I spoke to them about it.
So awkward. God. Yeah. I mean, you think all these things that you have to think about, that you have to be prepared to deal with, I suppose, when you're.
Yeah. And I suppose that was another reason, looking back, why I didn't lamp him, because I think he was like 19. Mind you, that's man enough to take a punch in the face.
I think so. I think so, definitely.
CP Crafts and More touches on something that is very true, talking about having too many control issues to have employees. I found it really tough. And some employees we had, I would give them a task to do, and then I'd go off and I'd just be thinking, I'd just rather do it myself. I could do it quicker, I could do it better, I could do it more efficiently. And certain people we had were fantastic, and you could explain how to do a job and you'd leave them and they'd run with it and it'd be great. Others, it was just so stressful. Like I said, I'd rather do it myself. So yeah, I am a control freak. Yeah, it's tough. Lisa's saying, I had no idea that had happened to Andrea. Yeah, it was a long time ago. This was back in, it was the year before we got married, so 2005. She'd had a hole in her heart since a child, and it had got to the point where she was getting heart rhythm problems and all of this. So she had the hole filled up. Yeah.
CP Croft says, my husband tried taking photos for me once, almost ended in divorce law. Actually saying that, just recently I was trying to be helpful, and this is the thing, people like to make out that I don't do anything, and it's because Rebecca really doesn't let me do much. Like, say, it's the kind of thing where I'll run the Hoover around and then she'll run the Hoover round after me again because I've not done it properly, you know. And I tell you what, I was trying to help her out, so she'd taken some photos. I was like, "Oh, I'll edit them for you," and I got the very first photo up on the screen, and I was just about to crop it for her, just to crop it, and she's like, "You know what? When I leave it, I'll do it. It'll be fine." And just I could, people do have that. I mean, I think I can be like that as well. I mean, she says I don't like to admit it, but one of the reasons she wanted to get her own store was she was tired of me kind of standing over her shoulder and looking at what she was doing, or giving my advice all the time.
It's difficult.
Oh yeah,
because I am quite a control freak. Well, I don't know. I suppose I am. I like things done in a certain way. I don't think I'm particularly good at everything. I just know how I want it done. And Andrea and I ran into lots of roadblocks with that when we were working in the shop, particularly. I would really wind her up. By, like you say, standing over her shoulder and going, "Could you just do that
this way? Yeah, this, I see you've done this," but
or going back after her and then changing something she'd done. That would be instant argument. That would be like, gloves are off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
sorry, the bubbles are coming up, and there's another super chat. It's Krillin again. Let me just see what Krillin's messaged. He says, "I owned a restaurant. I had a grumpy employee. I only kept because he was honest. What do you think your subscriber makeup is, UK versus Europe, US versus Europe?"
You could check that.
I can. I think it's mostly UK and then a big chunk of US and then rest of the world. But it is predominantly UK. I could get the numbers. I won't try and do it now. I'll only press some button. Yeah. To be honest, a grumpy employee I could handle if they are honest. It's dishonesty and laziness that I couldn't handle with my employees. So yeah, I get that, keeping someone who's grumpy because he's honest. Sorry, what were you saying before?
No, that was I think that was it really, about
being a control
situation. Yeah, about how it seems like you normally would get on well with your other half, but when it comes to work, it can really or when it comes to not even just work, just certain things, you like the way things are, it might be like, even before reselling, I was very particular about my computer. Like, I didn't really like her using it. So, it's part of the reason I think she's got her own, because I didn't really, it used to bother me for some reason. I'm ashamed to say, but it's true. And we all have these little things that, that we're quite possessive or protective of, and I think it's just you don't realize how much of a roadblock they can be if you don't if you're not aware of it.
That's one of the things when we've talked in the past about working with your spouse, and what's the positives and what are the negatives. The negatives definitely for us have been that I have ways of doing things and Andrew has very different ways of doing things, and it's about relinquishing that control and saying, okay, you do it how you want. It's on the same store for us as well now, you see. So there's things that I do that Andrew would do completely different, and vice versa, even when it comes down to pricing and stuff. And you have to just compromise and say, okay, yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Karen's saying, my hubby is fab, does most of the housework, but can't load a dishwasher to save his life. And I'm sure he can load a dishwasher, just doesn't do it how you would do it. See, that's the difference.
Oh, I think another one of these is, that's just reminded me, every time we go shopping at the supermarket, she can't stand the way I pack the bags. I know, right? So like, I don't pack things correctly. So when they're checking out.
That's not what we argue about in the supermarket. We argue about Andrea buying the stuff, the expensive stuff, when I buy the cheaper version. That's what we argue about.
Oh no, yeah, it's it's definitely it's funny.
And then what's CP Crafts? Oh, it just jumped. Hold on. CP Crafts some more. That's what he was trying to do. Told him to just put washing in and leave it to me. He can take my parcels to the shop. I allow him to do that. Capable of taking the parcel. Yeah, it can be stressful. On a serious note, working with your partner can be stressful, and you have to know when to just leave it well alone. I have to know when to walk away.
Yeah, definitely. I think you learn these things, definitely. I think we're a lot more comfortable now that we've got two separate little kind of spaces to get on and do stuff.
Malinky's just said in there, I had work, going back to employees, he says, I had a work experience student who stole a whole lot of stuff from us, got rid of him, and a few weeks later the college rang to ask if I would take another, which clearly he didn't. I took on a work experience kid from the local boys' school. He was a customer of ours. I knew him. And so I said, and you know, in year, whatever it is, the old 5th year, I think it is, you have to go and do work experience. He was big into his gaming. I knew him. So I said, yeah, I'll take you on. The issue I had with him, he was a lovely chap, quite good at, you know, giving him a task and he'd go away and do it. But he had no, like, personal hygiene, and he stank, and I didn't know how to broach it with the poor kid. I think I did in the end. I can't remember. It's so long ago. It's like 12 years ago or something. But yeah, that was horrible. And we had quite a small back room in where he was. I got him just sorting out stock.
So you were getting whiffs quite often.
Escape it. Just couldn't escape it. It's horrible.
Oh,
he was with us for like a week or more.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but at least he was honest. I think he was anyway. My husband and I are both the same, Nick. We're both alphas, says Heather. Yeah, I guess that's the problem. Andrew and I both think we're right.
Scott says at Pete's Retro Collectibles, it's all about systems. Delegations is easy. If the system is understandable and user friendly, there's listing, sourcing, shipping. Good systems will remedy this. Oh, what was that for?
Interesting.
Question: do eBay know about the videos you make about eBay? Have they ever commented on them? Some of the Americans have said that customer service know their vids. That's one man right asking that. I mean, it touches on something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I did mention earlier that I've actually tried to contact eBay to see if they'd work with me in some way, because we really do promote eBay as a platform and a way of making money, and we must have made them a fortune. But yeah,
Hollywood enough.
Maybe we're not. They're certainly not returning my emails. Maybe they don't like what we're doing. Who knows?
Maybe.
Somebody was asking me how much in wages did my employees cost a year. It was a lot. Employing people is a lot of money. We had a couple of part-timers and a couple of weekend staff at different times. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It was a long time ago. Expensive. Okay, just going to see if I had any other bits I noted down from the Tat Chat group. Oh, one was something that I actually briefly joined in the Six Pack show Sunday night, and they were talking about goals and how they can be a positive, but they can also be a negative if they're not realistic. I'm not the best at having goals. I do try and have little listing goals. Like today I was doing batches of 10. I've still got another batch of 10 on the go. And that works for me because they're small and they're achievable. So I like those. Bigger goals, it does get quite complicated. But are you still setting goals or targets?
Struggling. I'm struggling. I just can't. I keep on forgetting. I mean, I've got a book that I'm meant to be writing them down in. You know, I'd love to. I think I might even have to make my goals even easier. I think I might set myself a target of just 5 items a day. I don't know, anything just to achieve it. But I'm so I at the moment it's very fluid. That's the way to explain it. I struggle to. I keep forgetting. It's meant to be like a habit, isn't it? It's meant to be like, you know, you just get up and you're meant to just have goals. I mean, I even installed an app on my phone which is meant to plan your day, and every day at 9 it bothers me to plan my day, and I'm just telling it to bugger off, you know, just swipe it away. I don't think I'm just not good at doing it yet, and I need to do it. Adam says it, goal onesie, work on your goals.
Yes, I know. It's like trying to change a habit of a lifetime for me, and my habit is being very scatterbrain and all over the place. I get a lot of stuff done, but I don't do it particularly efficiently, and I never have.
Yeah.
It's something I think I'll continue to work on for the rest of my life and never quite crack it, I'm sure.
I don't think people have got very high goal settings for me. I had, was it CP Crafts' goal for the Daisy, create a goal. Neil says one listing, then have a nap. And Peter Reyes says my goal should be not to drop items. Well, I failed today already, you know.
Oh, Kerry's just said, I've started working with my partner now. So far, so good, but only 3 days in.
Oh, okay. Early days.
Period,
Yeah. That's when it's really cool, because you get to spend so much time together.
Yeah. You wait for the 3 months in, Mark, and check back with us. Let us know how you're getting on. Okay, cool. I did see something I was going to touch on there.
Jamie Kenley's been very honest, saying since starting, I have never met a single one of my business goals. My guess would be I underestimated what was needed and the workload involved. Still trying and not giving up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's tricky because I've always had bigger goals and worked towards them. The trouble is getting overwhelmed with, you know, if the target is huge, it sometimes can swamp you and you don't know where to start. So you do have to really break it down and compartmentalize it. It's like, I need to achieve this first in order to get here. And to achieve this, I need to break that down into manageable chunks. I mean, I was much more methodical when we were setting up, like when we set up the retail outlets we've had over the years. And that's such a huge task. So many different things you've got to sort out. You've got to sort out shop fitting. You've got to sort out stock. You've got to sort out a whole host of things. And I was quite good at managing that. But day-to-day running of this, I'm just all over the place with it. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I'm at home.
I think that has a huge impact as well. I really do. I think I know CP Craft says goals are guidelines. Don't beat up if you don't do it. I do get that. I think they're important though. Even when you're at home, I think they're really, really important. On the rare days that I do manage to kind of set goals, I actually tend to achieve them, but half the time I just don't bother to even set myself a goal for the day. You know, I won't even, but when I do it, and then I'm like, wow, it's so easy. Why don't I do this every day? Yeah, I'm going to do it from now on. And then the next day it's like, whatever, you know, just do it when I'll do what I can when I can, you know.
Consistency is my downfall, because when I do set goals, I can achieve them and I get a lot more work done, but consistently doing that, and then things come up, you know what I mean? Things come, like we had the dentist the other day, and that kind of throws your day out, and then you're all over the place. And then
but you shouldn't, that's the thing, you allow that. Like, it's so easy when something happens slightly out of the ordinary, it's almost like a get out of jail free card, because you're like, well, that's me done then, isn't it? I mean, that's it, you know. I was going to do this and this, but you know, now
somebody was on a totally different subject. I've lost it again. Somebody is asking what our opinions are on the Music Magpie and the big media sellers, and how they've come in and kind of taken over the market. I think it's amazing what they've achieved. You just have to deal with it, because they're not going away, and they have brought down the perceived value of media. And I think I said this before in another video. I've seen the perceived value of media at car boot sales drop through the floor. And I think a lot of that is because they've tried Music Magpie and it's like 5p, 1p. And it's like, oh, okay. And then they go to the boot sale and they virtually give it away, which is good for us if you know what you're looking for. But you can flip it on its head. I've bought a fair bit from those guys and flipped it and made money. So you can just take advantage of them. But yeah, they're not going to go away.
We've actually reached 170 people. It's just dropped now, but we did reach 170 people watching. Wow, so fantastic. If you guys enjoyed the chat, smash the like button. Yeah. Someone did a "you know you're a reseller" comment as well. You know you are a reseller when a trip to the dentist throws your day out, says Adam Kelsey. Yeah, that can definitely go on.
I was going to read a load of that. I might just do a separate video and read that thread from the Tat Chat group, because that's
so funny.
I might just do some on Sunday. Oh no, we're not even doing a stream on Sunday. I'm going to do it on Monday. Anyway, yeah. Well, we've been waffling for over an hour, so we'll wrap it up shortly, guys. I'm just going to see if there's another question we can quickly jump on. What's the most money you've made flipping an item you bought at a pound store and selling on eBay and Amazon? Ages ago, I was flipping silver hair dye that I was paying £1 for, and I was doing it in batches of 3. So I was spending £3, and the most I got for those as a lot of 3 was £20. And I was selling loads. I was going in and clearing out Poundlands of them, which they didn't like. Some stores really had a problem with me doing that.
Oh.
And they went and got the manager. Can you buy this in bulk? Can you not? Blah, blah, blah. So and some of them told me to just go away, and I just go straight back in and do it anyway, because depending on who you got at the counter, they cared or didn't care. So I'd just take a chance. But they don't stock it anymore, not the one that I was selling. Have you ever done that, flipping pound stuff? Not really your game, is it?
Not really, no, I've never. You've had another super chat, by the way.
Have I? That one didn't come up.
Yeah.
Oh, let me find it.
Sid K says Krillin is slowly laundering his money. It wouldn't be the best way to launder it, because it's all non-refundable.
Did you find out who the band Fix are? No, I didn't, and I plan to. I'll actually write it down, because last time I left the chat and couldn't remember the name of the band.
Classic.
Okay, it's in black and white now, Krillin. I'll have a look and get back to you.
That can be one of your goals.
That's my goal for this evening.
Yeah.
I need to finish this batch of 10, do another load of. I need to get another suitcase out of the loft. I was told by Andrea before she left. So that's 3 goals. Wow.
3 goals.
I'm feeling overwhelmed already.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got a goal. I've got a couple of things that I need to list. I've taken photos of. That's my goal.
Cool. Nick, the A3 canvas from Pound Shop, I buy 30 and sell for 60 to 90 pounds. Wow. Perhaps you shouldn't have shared that. I might do that. But yeah, opportunities are out there. It's amazing what people do. I've seen people doing some cool things at Easter where you go and you buy a load of the pound stuff and you make up like an Easter box. Get some cheap wicker baskets from somewhere and sell them as like Easter basket sets. There was someone in America doing that on Amazon, setting up their own Amazon product and buying it from like Dollar Tree, I think is a big store over there, and then setting it up as a product and sending them into FBA. So amazing. Okay, shall we? Nick, have you watched Lost? No, I thought it sounded like a really daft series.
I watched it and it was really good in the beginning, but then I got bored halfway through. I didn't even.
Well, wasn't that the series that people moaned about how it ended? Didn't it have a?
Yeah, that was the one. Apparently, it had some lame ending, like it was all a dream or something lame like that.
Simon said it was a great series, but I didn't. I remember reading some reviews at the time and thinking it really wasn't for me. But no. Okay, cool. Well, thanks ever so much, guys, for joining us. Thanks for all your questions. I hope somewhere in there was something useful or entertaining. You never know. And oh, there goes Monty. See you later. And yeah, you'll be back on Friday for your chat at 7.
7, that's it.
7.
Yeah.
And then I think our Sunday one's going to be on the Monday. That's the plan, because we are at the 80s festival for the weekend.
Oh yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? You'd be doing a little vlog from there.
Yeah. Did we share that we're planning to meet up tomorrow? Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. So
no, we didn't share it, but yeah, we're planning on meeting up because I'm going down to see family down south. So
yep,
we're doing that. That would be epic.
We're head to London at some point and hopefully bump into some Alex.
Yeah, it should be good fun.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Check out the links below to Facebook and the group and stuff, and we'll see you over there. Take care, guys.
See you later, guys.